Hello, we are going to create a Android application which is capable of sending SMS messages. So to do this, we need to first create an empty activity. So choose create new project and select empty activity. So for the application name, I'm going to put SMS app. Make sure you select Java as the language and also select the minimum API level as you desire. So once the gradability is complete, you will get two files. One is main activity.java and the activity main.xml. So to design the user interface, we will first go to the activity main XML. So you can either design this interface by coding or graphically. So for this one, I'm going to go with graphical design. I will get rid of this text view. So first, I need the font text edit text view. So I'll add that first. And then for the message, I need a multi-line text. I'll add that as well. So I will size this a little bit. Okay. Now I need two labels. For the labels, I'll go with text view. So for the text view, uh, I'll leave its ID as it is because I'm not going to use it in coding part. So I'll put the text as phone number and also make the font a little bit bigger, say 25. Okay. So I'll copy that and here as message. Sorry. Okay. So next I need a button. So this button will be titled send and I'll give it an ID of send button. So for this message box also, I'll give an ID of message text. And for this one, font text. Okay, so now I'm going to give constraint for this. So since this is a very basic layout, I'll constrain these to all these to parent. So I'll start with send. You can repeat this for the other text boxes and labels as well. Okay, now you have constrained these. Now we are getting some warnings to set up auto fill hints and also to move this hardcode text to string.xml file and address those from there. So we'll do that as well. So if you're wondering what this does is, it basically does separate this two values. Now you may see that for this warning, when I'm going to fix it, it says it auto generates a resource name. It actually suggests me a resource name, and also it is pointing to the resource value as well. So once I click OK, what this does is in this strings.xml file, it updates. So you have phone number, this would be the reference, and this would be the value. So it is pulling that information from here. So this is a more structured way of doing things. So you can either manually type it all here or just fix the warnings from here. So this just showing me that this label should be for this text box, but I'm not going to fix that in this project. So you can enable autofill hints by going here and typing whatever the hint you want. So for message box, I will type your message, and for phone number, I will type enter your phone. Okay. So this is asking us to autofill hints. I'm not going to do that in this project. So now we have our user interface. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to set up permissions. Uh, More specifically, the permissions to send messages. So to do that, you have to go to manifest and Android manifest. So once you are here, make some space just before application tag and open a new tab and type use feature, Android name, Android dot permission, send SMS, and then close the tab. Okay. Now go to the main activity. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to first import the button from the user interface. To do that, import the button class, then give it just a variable name. I'll call it send button. Then type, then you need to cast it to button, and also type find view by ID. And in here, you can use r dot id dot and then the ID you provided for the button. For me, that was send button. Okay, I'm not going to use it just yet. Now, to use this application, we should first take permission from the user to send messages. Now, we have defined that in Android manifest, but uh, unlike a proximity sensor, this requires permission from the user directly when he opens the application. So we can do that by using activity compat class. So type activity compat and import that class. Then it has a method to request permission. So it takes in three parameters. One of that is the activity, and then the permissions you need for that activity, and then the request code. So the activity we want this permission for is the current activity, which is this activity. So we just say this. And for permissions, we have already defined that in the Android manifest. So we can type new string array manifest permission, and the permission we want is send SMS. Okay, and then we need to pass in the request code. So package manager is basically a class for retrieving various kinds of information related to the application packages that are currently installed on the device. So by using this class, we can check if permission has been granted for this application. Okay. Now this entire line of code, what it will do is it will show a pop-up in our screen asking for permission to send SMS. That is basically what it does. Okay, so now that is done. So now we need a function to send SMS. So how we are going to do that is we'll come out of this onCreate method and declare a public method. This won't return anything. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is grab that phone number and the message that the user enters in the interface. So what I'm going to do is first create two variables. So the phone text field, I gave it as phone text, and also we need the message text field as well. Okay, now that we have those uh, references, we'll try to get the user input as a string. So I'm going to declare a new variable. I will call it phone string for the phone number. So I'm going to use this reference and call its get method, get text method, and convert that to string. So I'll do the same thing to message text as well. So uh, message string, message text dot get text to string. All right. Now that we have both those values, we will try to send us message. So first we need to make sure that the phone string and message string are not empty. So how we are going to do that is we are going to use an if block. So let's say if uh, phone string and message string are not empty. To do that, we are using this syntax. So what this basically means is if you forget this not operator, it it essentially compares phone string and this text inside this string inside the brackets. So it is essentially checking if the phone string is empty. And since we have the not operator in front of it, it is now checking if the phone string is not empty. And we also need to check the message string as well. We'll do the same thing. Now it is important to understand that if you use the equal operator, this won't work. Why that is a phone string is a string. In Java, string is an object, and also this is object. It will only compare those two objects as it is, not the actual text. So you have to use this dot equals method. So if this is all right, now I want to send a message. To send SMS messages, we can use a class called SMS manager. So we will use that one. So we need to get the object from this class. So how we are going to do that is we can call the get default SMS manager.getDefault method. So it will return an instance of the object of that class. Why we can call it like this is because getDefault is a static method of this class. So now we can use this SMS manager object to send our message. So we will use that. We will use the send text message method. So now this takes four parameters: destination address, SC address, text, set intent, and delivery intent. So destination address is the address to send the message to. So SC address is a service sent address. So if we use null for this, it will use the current default SMSC. SMSC refers to short message service center. So the next one is text. So that is the actually the body of the message which we want to send. And the next parameter is sent intent. So an intent is basically a message that is passed between components such as activities. So in this case, it will create a pending intent, which is a broadcast message to indicate if the message was successfully sent or if it is failed. So next we have delivery intent. So what it does is it creates a broadcast message when the message is delivered to the recipient. So for us, the destination address is on string. We don't have a C address, so we'll leave that as null. And then the text we want to send is this message string. We'll copy that here. And we don't want a pending intent. And we don't want a delivery intent either. So we'll set that as null. Now, once this message is sent, the user must be able to have some kind of a notification on that. So we'll use a toast for it. So we'll use toast dot make text. So now we'll pass in the application context, and then the text it should display. So we'll say message sent to and the font string. Okay, and we'll set the duration as toast dot length long, and we will also show this. Okay, so there are many places in this application that it can go wrong. So if an error occurs, the normal behavior is the application will crash. So since we don't want that to happen, we can wrap this if statement in a try catch block. So we'll do that. So the catch block will take in any exceptions. So if it gets an exception, we'll show a toast which indicates that the message wasn't delivered. So we'll copy this one and just say message failed. Okay. Now everything is set except that we are not calling this method anymore. So what we want to do is when the user press the button, I want to execute this function. So to do that, I'm going to attach a click listener to this button. Actually, we don't need this casting. So I'm going to attach a on click listener to this button. To do that, I'll say send button dot set on click listener. Now it will take a view as a parameter. So we'll go view on click listener. Right. Now on click, I want to execute this function. So what I'm going to do is just call that function and also pass the view there. and it will take this view here as well. Okay, so that's about it. We'll run this and see if it works. Okay, so in the application, it asks us permission. So we click allow, and now we can give a telephone number, and we can type in a message and click send. So we get the message sent tossed. To confirm this, we can go to messages. Okay, and now we see the same message here as well. So that's a quick demonstration on how to create a Android application which can send SMS messages. Thank you.